What is TPR? That is what I'm answering for you today. I've had a lot of questions recently about TPR. Are they doing it right? Are they doing it enough? Some people thought they were doing it great and they were interviewing for companies and they were told that they need to do more and they're not sure how. So I thought this would be a good opportunity to show about TPR and explain exactly what it is. Okay, TPR stands for Total Physical Response. Basically, in a nutshell, it's kind of like talking with your hands, but not really. It's not just using your hands a lot like this when you speak, as some people do, and you might see on some YouTube videos. I'm somebody who talks with my hands all the time. That's not total physical response. The purpose and intent behind total physical response is that you are going to supplement what you are saying with something that helps explain it. It's a way to give more meaning to the English words so that the student who doesn't understand the English word will have something to help them explain it. So it's kind of in lieu of a picture or photograph of what it is. It's your motions helping to explain it. All right. Sometimes they're very simple and very easy that you can do. Drink and eat. And they're very self-explanatory. But there's a lot of times that we are trying to explain non-concrete words, more abstract words, or function words, or question words like who, what, when, where, why, that don't have an actual motion. So we use total physical response to help convey meaning along with those words. All right, let me give you some examples. I could begin a class by saying, "Hello, my name is Teacher Jenny. What is your name?" And you might think, okay, well, that's fine. You spoke slow enough and you showed some expression, but this is how it should go. Hello. Hello. My name is Teacher Jenny. What is your name? Okay, do you see how you use a little bit more? You can incorporate props into your TPR. It doesn't have to just be your hands, but it's using of the hands in a meaningful way and not just flipping them all about, pretending that you know some sort of hybrid sign language that both the Chinese and the English will understand. That doesn't exist. But TPR is sort of like a hybrid international language that most people will understand. In actual sign language, we're called iconic signs. They're signs and symbols in sign language that actually represent the action that is happening. All right, so let me give you some more examples of how you can use TPR in your lessons and knock that interview out of the ballpark, and then also do a fantastic job as an ESL online teacher, having your kids be successful because they understand what you are saying. Let's start with a difficult one, but one that happens a lot in your trial classes and in all your classes, and that is circle. For circle, what I would do is first demonstrate it on the screen as I'm using the language for them. So I would say, circle the teacher. Do it again. Circle the teacher. You circle the teacher. Right now, they're probably not going to get it. So I'm going to go ahead after that and show my mouse and say, circle the teacher. Circle the teacher. If they're still not getting it, I use my little magnetic board here. I still have a circle from this morning's class. And I'll go, circle, circle. And they'll be repeating, circle, circle. And see if they then respond. They usually pick up after a little bit, after you demonstrate it a couple times, show the mouse, and use a whiteboard or something else to explain it as well. Okay, if mom or dad are next to them, then then they get it much quicker because frequently they'll understand that. But sometimes mom and dad don't know English, and they just want their kids to learn English, and so therefore they're just as stumped as you are. And sometimes the kids don't know that they can write on the screen. It's just that simple. So keep showing them the mouse and that, and then pointing, and eventually they'll be like, huh? And they'll start touching things and realize, oh, this is an interactive class. I got it. All right, so that's the tricky one. Circle is one that we use at the very, very early stages, and sometimes some of the kids really, really struggle with trying to figure that out. Okay, now when we have questions like who, what, when, where, why, those can be difficult too. When we're circling things on the screen, I will frequently circle and say, what is this? What is it? And then put my hand to my ear to see if they will respond and tell me, what is it? It's a crazy teacher. So what is kind of a universal motion? Without any words, you can pretty much tell that you're like questioning, wanting some information. And so that's a way to kind of get them to frequently respond and do something. Now, if you want them to circle a certain item rather than just say, circle the cow, what I do is say, where is the cow? Moo. Where is the cow? This motion for where they get. They get that better than circle. They get that better than what. They understand you are looking for something, and they will then respond to show you what it is. Circle the item, say the word, whatever it is. That goes hand in hand with circle very well for where. Since we're kind of on this topic right now of where and looking at things, I want to say that two words that are very common in the online ESL programs are look and see. Now, at the early ages, they're basically interchangeable. Okay, so I will sometimes go like this and sometimes go like this. Depending on the situation, and sometimes I'll use both of them interchangeably to really try to reinforce look or see. What I don't do is use this for I. I've seen a lot of people do that before. I don't think we should use this for I. Our English language is full of homonyms and homophones and words with multiple meanings and words with the same meaning but different spellings, and it's just it can be so complex and complicated that starting off early on saying that this is I, when body parts is one of the earlier units in the ESL program, and then saying this is I, and that's very different from this I don't think it's good practice to use this for I. So I always point to myself for I. This is I, this is you. I, you. And those are the motions that I use for I and you. This is good for see and look. So I see you. I see a teacher. I see a giraffe. Okay? And then get them to say it. Now, after I say something, I cup my ear. And then that lets them know it's their turn to talk now. I'm waiting and I'm listening to hear them say something. It does not take long. Your very first trial class with them, they will get this before the end of the class, that it's their turn to talk when you go like this. If they don't, then that means they're low enough that they're really kind of at the parrot stage anyway. So I will point to my mouth, and then I'll point to them and cut my ear. So I will say, pig, pig. Waiting for them to say pig. Okay? Do you see how I wait and I pause? It will feel unnatural at first because we talk so much in English and we have lots of fillers and little words to put in there. Those should not be used when you are in a trial class or when you're in a regular class, and certainly not when you're in your interview. Don't say, it's your turn now, go. I talk, and then you're quiet and cover your ear, okay? To give them an opportunity to talk. Ideally, in these early classes, you want the child to be talking 50-50 with you. Eventually, you want them talking like 80% of the time. But in these early on classes, you want them 50-50. If you sit there and try to explain every single thing, that is not happening. The kid is doing more listening and not really comprehending or understanding as part of that listening. Kind of more hearing rather than listening. So you want them to understand what you are saying. So you need to keep your language simple, down to one word or one phrase, and then silence and cupping your ears to give them the opportunity to do talking next. All right. Frequently we will have big and small. Big, small. I have a big and a small giraffe that sometimes I'll bring out to help show big and small as well. But usually just your motions with your arms like this. Big, small. And anytime I want them to circle something that's big or small, I will have them do the hand motions with me. Come on. Big, small. And they love to imitate. So don't worry about it. Very rarely will they just sit there and stare at you and not even try. Very rarely. They're excited to learn English. So exaggerate, have them copy after you, and then you can circle the big teacher. See? All right. Think and know. For both of those, I'll point to my head. I think 2, or whatever it is. Numbers, count on your hand. Watch my video on my channel of how to count in Chinese because they count different than us. It's different from the hand counting of American Sign Language, and it's different from the way that we do it. Well, let's see. Naturally, I automatically go to the Chinese way because I'm getting so used to it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I have the 1 through 10. You can practice with them just so that they feel a little more comfortable with you. And then it gives you an opportunity to count on one hand too so that you have control of the mouse on the other one. If you're circling or moving PowerPoint slides, you can do counting on one hand. They do their counting 1 through 10 on one hand. Okay. One motion that I use a lot is to let them know it's their turn is this. When you do that motion, they are going to understand that they need to find something, they need to say something, they need to look for something, they need to mark something. So after your question, if you make those kind of gestures, then they'll know that they need to do something. So no matter what the question is or what the activity is, I just use that a lot in my classes. And right away, when they see me looking confused, they know that there's something they're supposed to tell me or teach me or show me. And they get it. They get it. So use that a lot. Okay. Up and down comes up a fair amount in the classes. So naturally, up, down, up, down. Now, you of course can also draw up, down, on your screen and pair it with the words as well. But if you noticed when I did up, down, I didn't just go up, down, up. I did up, moving it up, moving my body up, and moving the intonation of my voice up. Up, down. All three of those kind of work together as part of TPR to really convey the meaning of up and down. If they're still not getting it, I usually grab my monkey to have him stand up and sit down to help explain it. If I can tell that my girl is a very girly girl, holding on to her stuffed animal with her cute little bows in her hair, I might grab my doll instead to show up, down. Up, down. Up, down. Up. And hold it there for a second and just pause. Just wait. Very likely the child's going to say, down. You go, oh, down. And then look confused and they'll go up. And then so now they're giving the directions to you and you're following along without you ever having to say, now you tell me what to do. Okay, do you understand? This is how total physical response and silence, paired with silence, will make your class more meaningful to the child so that they can learn more during it. Okay, an iconic one that everyone knows, love. There's very many in the gogokid. There's I love mango, I love banana, I love apple. In there, there's I love mom, I love dad. This, I love soccer. I love soccer. So we use that for love, but then I also pair it with love. I like this love too. The old standby before Taylor Swift. All right. I want children to use complete sentences. Well, I don't just. The programs want you to have the children use complete sentences. But to say, use a full sentence, they don't always understand that. So I will model it. If I ask the child, what is this? And it says on the screen, it is an apple. And there's a picture of an apple. So I'm saying, what is it? And he says, apple. Apple. It is an apple. It is an apple. And then I kind of stretch it out. Actually, I didn't do it at the beginning of this one, but I'll stretch it first and then say, it is an apple. And this stretch motion, eventually my kids learn that and I don't have to say anything. If they say apple, I'll go, and they'll say, it is an apple. Okay, if they're not at that level yet, and they're just saying, apple is apple, is apple, you can break it down, and I underline each word, it is, and have them repeat them after me. And then I use my fingers. It is an apple. I usually wear dark color. I have white nail polish on right now. I usually have dark colored nail polish because I just think it shows up better in class. So even in the summertime, I usually have like a dark purple or something colored nail polish. But we're going with white today. That's all right. It doesn't matter. You don't have to have nail polish on at all if you don't want to. I just like it because I think it pops a little more on the screen. It is an apple. It is and then usually they'll get apple by themselves. Now, the one they're going to leave out is the an. An, and the. Those three articles are not used in the Chinese language because they have a whole different language structure. So frequently the children will say it is apple and leave out the and, or the, whatever the article is in that particular situation. So to get your kids to do it in that first lesson, this is what you do. You say, it is an apple. It is an apple. And then have them say it after you as you point. It is, and then when you wiggle that finger, they're going to go, an apple, and they'll get it. Just overemphasize and use your voice to overemphasize and overemphasize the motion of it, and they will get it. They will. They will. All right. I think that's the bulk of everything I wanted to teach you today. I don't want to take up too much time, but I wanted to give you a good foundation of how to use it. It's not just random moving your hands around as you're talking to try to explain things. That's just confusing. That's me normally talking. But that's not ideal for an ESL lesson. Your motions should have intent behind them, and they should help explain what your words are saying. All right, that's all for now. I hope that's helpful for you. If there is a TPR that you don't know how to use or a word you don't know how to use TPR with, please, by all means, put it down below. Or if you have a great strategy that you came up with, put that down below too and share it with everybody so that we can be a community of helping each other and learning from each other. All right, that's all. If you haven't signed up to be a VIP kid or a gogokid teacher, all my information is down below. I would be very happy and honored to be your referral teacher and the one that helps you along your journey. That's all for today. Take care. Bye-bye.